Well, and welcome to the fourth part of this series. My name's David Thorne. I'm from Thorne Web Design. Now, what we've been talking about is top-down programming logic. What it is, how you abide by it, and how you've got to try your hardest to stay away from all of the small little fine details, and you've just got to focus on the big things, the most important things first of all, because if you focus on the small things, the big things get lost. Okay, so you've always got to focus on the big things and accomplishing the big main tasks. The small things come from there. Okay, now just to look back, to reflect upon what we've done already. The first video we introduced the top-down programming logic, and in the second video we started to write our logic of what was there, and then we started to write how it should be executed, and then we actually started to make a login class. Alright, now hypothetically we had then a meeting with the other developer, and there was a little bit of disputes between the two developers, and I said, well, wait a minute, this is not the way that we should be doing this, because there's a lot of things that have gone wrong here. So the developer who needed to know whether they were logged in or not has made a login interface requesting all of the information. So, and as the developer of the login class, we said fine, we'll go away tomorrow and we'll redo it, and we'll come back in the morning and we'll talk about it once again. Yep. So that's where we are right now. Now the question is are we still doing this correctly? Okay, so we're going to leave the answer to that question until the next video. Okay, where this one we're gonna finish off updating our login object class to meet all of the requirements of this. Okay, and then we'll have our meeting tomorrow morning and so on, and then we'll work out actually which way around this should be and what was the best way to do it. Okay, but for the time being we've made a promise and we're going to complete this. So we're going to kind of scrap this for the time being, and we're going to make another file. So we're going to say login underscore o. Okay, or we're going to say login underscore class. So class login, and then implements login interface. Now there's lots of can you do it on this? In fact, insert code. No, okay, I don't think you can do it. On some other things you can do it. No. Okay, so we're going to have to copy all of these. Okay, and we're going to have to copy all of these, come down, because this is the stuff that we've got to do. Okay, they've given us the task, and these are the things that we've got to accomplish. So we're going to go through, and we know we've got to return a string here first of all. Oh, and that was actually that essentially. So we're finding bugs in this already. This should be return void. Yeah. Because they didn't ask for anything to be returned, so we're updating it with what it should be returned. Yeah, they didn't ask for anything, so we're not returning anything. So we're going to say return void, and we're going to scrub that. And this one didn't ask for anything, so we're going to say return void, and we've updated the interface. And so we're going to come here, and Well, we're thinking, well, wait a minute, set username. All right, fine. We'll go private username equals null. It's there. Job's done. So all we've got to do is we've got to say this underscore why is that not coming up there? Oh, probably because of that. And we're thinking, right, password. So we need a password as well. So we'll say private underscore password equals null. And then we're going to set this. So as we go through, we're going, right, these are the things that we need. Let's actually set that, shall we? And blah 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 is active. Okay, so we need some way here of working out if is active. So we're going to say is active equals false right in the beginning. So we're going to return this is whoops. So it's our job from now to set this. Okay, that's bound to this one class. So all we've got to do is set this there, and this one method is finished. Okay, it's done. Okay, set cookie name. So it means that we need a cookie name here. So we'll say private and cookie name equals null. Cookie name equals cookie name. Set domain. So private domain, and we're going to call it cookie domain actually, because cookie domain, and we'll say this cookie domain equals domain. Okay, then we're going to say okay, and they're saying here parameters are double, okay, and here parameters are string. So okay, well, let's be tidy in what we're doing. Var string, we'll say cookie domain, and we're going to say, I'm going to copy this and set domain. So we come back here, we want to know what type this is, string, and let's come here and put that there. So we're clear about that. Is active, and this one here, boolean. Let's copy this. Private variable to determine if the user is already logged in. Simple. Okay, so you're all logged in, the message to return blah 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 blah. So cookie name we've done, cookie domain we've done, set cookie domain. So we've got private cookie expires equals null, and now in PHP we're going to have to say it's a an int because it doesn't understand doubles. Timestamp of when the cookie should expire, and we're going to make that -1 actually. Now we'll make it 0. We'll set it at 0. Okay, so the cookie expires straight away. If they don't set it, then essentially we've set a cookie, but it's going to expire straight away. Get error. So error equals null. String error determines the error in which happened. Okay, returns that, has errors, so we're going to say num errors equals 0. Yep. Because indicates the number of errors which has occurred. Executes, and what we're going to do here is that we're going to save ourselves from having to execute it more than once. Okay, is executed equals false, because they may call this call this one method like multiple times in a loop. We never know. Okay, so if that programmer is really crappy and he's put it in a loop and it's executing, we want to know that we're not like executing a database request all the time. Okay, if we've done it once and our class is complete and we know that the user isn't logged in, then we don't need to execute it any further, right? Because we've done it already. So we'll just bypass it and we'll just say no, it doesn't work every single time. So boolean and is executed. So once the object has executed the first time, is executed will be set to true, so as we do not require to execute more than once. Done. Okay, update last login, and once again we don't want to like update this all the time. Last login updated equals false. And this is boolean as well. So before we go on, what we're doing is we're just adding our own views to this. If last login has been updated, then no reason to do it once again. True if completed, false if not. They're just notes for us for now. Okay. So return this. So here we want to check if we're starting to write some of this code. If last login updated, return true, else updates last login, return true. Okay, done. Alright, so and um, yeah, check for errors and set errors if required. That's as far as we care about this for now. Execute needs this as well, so return boolean, return, and we can do this once again here. Essentially, copy this, and if is executed, then return true, else return true. Execute code. Has errors. Okay, if num, whoops, if num errors is more than 0, then we know it's got errors. Then return true, else return false. Okay, that's as simple as it gets, because if that's 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever, then we know it's got errors. And this has just got to return error. Well, that's done. That's finished there. Set cookie expires. This dots cookie expires equals timestamp. We should do some checks on that, but essentially, as long as it's let me put int in here, for example. Yeah, we'll leave it as that. Let's change that to int. Set domain. We'll leave it the way it is. Is active. There we go. Password, username. Okay, so this is kind of done to the point of updating our class with the information that's actually needed. Okay. Now we actually need to implement essentially the execute method, because the other ones were just setting errors. Okay. Now, so what we need to know first of all is if this username is equal to null, then this dot num errors plus equals 1. Yeah. And this dot error equals username must be, I would just say username is not set. Finished. Okay. We're going to return false there. That's it. We don't care. And because there's no point going on if we don't have a username. Why should we test it any further? Okay. And here once again, password. If there is a username, then we can continue. If there's no password, then we stop. Okay. And once again, we check cookie domain is equal to null. Cookie domain is not set. And cookie expires. Cookie expires is not set. What else have we got? Let's look at this here. Set username, passwords is active. Set cookie name, set domain, get errors, has errors, execute, update last login. Okay, that's essentially what we've done at the moment. Okay, so the rest needs to then to actually do the main logic of this one class needs to log in. So we've got the username and we've got the password. We just now need to have a method that's inside of it. So private function login. Okay, and we name this login, and this needs to return boolean and check database if user is a user first and that the password matches with the password which is in the database. Okay. So for the time being we're going to return true. We're going to say that it's okay. Yeah, that's all we're going to do. Is we're just going to say it's good for now, and we're going to say this dot updates last login update last login, and this last login equals true. So that's what we need to do, and essentially we don't want public on this, we want private on this, because this is actually the doing method. Okay. The fact of the matter is that someone could override this, yeah, and we don't want it overriding it. We just want to know that this is the main logic, and it will always do this, yeah. So update user cell with new timestamp, return true. Update last login, ints. That's going to actually access the database itself. Now we don't have a database to update, so we can't do anything right now, and this is one of the next questions that needs to be answered, is how do we access the database, but we're not going to worry about this for now. So if this dot login, this num errors plus equals 1, error equals okay, well, to go from here I believe that we need once again this user exists, and we're going to put in here username. We're going to be explicit about it, and we're going to say this num errors plus equals 1, error equals username does not exist, return false. So we need this method, make it private function, and this is what we need to do. let's get rid of this. Username. Check database that username exists. Return true. And let's give string, a description of it, the database to validate if the username actually exists. Okay, and we're going to have a because we don't want to do this check more than once. If this user exists, oops, what happened there? Return true. Okay, and continue. So if it does, then we come down here and we're going to set user exists equal to true. Okay, so it's done, because once again, no point testing it again if we know that it's already done. Okay. Boolean, and once again, if the check to see if the user exists has already been completed, then this property will be true. Okay, so and once again, last login updated, and this update last login and time. Okay, if not, then this num errors equals +1, error equals could not update last login. And we're going to explicitly set this to false, and then we're going to return false. Okay, so that's where we're going to get out of it if it doesn't work. Okay, that's fine. Okay, that's it pretty much done. The rest we need to work upon. Login, login, start update last login. Then from here you'd have to set the cookie as well. So we need to come back to set cookie. So up here, set cookie expires, set domain, set cookie name. So we then come back to here, and we've got function here of set cookie, and here we want cookie name, cookie value, domain, expires, so set cookie, this is active equals true, return true. String, 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 ints. Sets the cookie. Okay, done. Okay, so it's essentially, this is actually setting the cookie itself. Yes, you need to do it, but the logic is there. So I think you get the idea of where we're going from this now. Is that now that we've got something that can be used now, we don't need to essentially worry about how the person's going to program this, how they're going to validate it. All we're doing is we're giving them the facility to know whether it's been done or not. Okay, so this person can then take this one class and require that, and then use the various different methods that we've created for them. Okay, so the reason I'm going to stop this here is because there's a couple of questions that we need to ask in the next meeting tomorrow morning. Is update last login. Is we haven't actually got a database to access at the moment. Login, once again, is we don't have anything to verify it with. User exists, once again, we don't have anything to verify it with. So these are, we've done basically as much as we can do for now up until the next meeting, where prior to the next meeting we need to go prepared to say to the other developer who actually then deals with the database objects, we need to give them something to be able to say, hey, this is the information I need, you need to give this to me, because that's not my job, it's someone else's job, and I don't know the database passwords, I don't know the database usernames, I don't know any of this stuff. So I've got to go to another developer now to say, hey, in order for me to finish this login one, you need to do some work for me now. Okay, so that's essentially it. In the next video, what we're going to do is we're going to make our request to the database guy to say, hey, this is the type of information that we need in order to fulfill this. And when we go back to the meeting tomorrow, we can say to the bosses and to the other person is, look, I've done all of my stuff now, I need this from this other one person, can we all then say that this can be done? And the other person who's waiting for the login goes, yeah, that's fine. Okay, so we've done as much as we can do for the time being. That's this video for now. So in the next video we're going to be making our interface that we need to hand over, and I'm giving you clues now of which way round, why it was wrong and stuff like that. Okay, alright, that's it. I'll see you in the next video.